Welcome to Disturbed. We're talking Season 7, Episode 5 of American Horror Story Cult. This episode is called Holes. And it is not starring, I screwed up her name. I can't think of her name. The one that was married to Kurt Cobain. She was in the band
Courtney Love.
Courtney Love. It is not starring Courtney Love. Thank goodness. Okay, so, Chris.
Sorry, yes, sir.
Here we are. Coughs and all. I'm Rob Southgate. With me is
Chris Mao.
Hey, Chris.
How are you,
so, grumpy as usual. There's nothing new there. How about you?
Sure. Yes, grumpy. Sounds good.
Perfect. All right. So we should jump into this one. I know we're late. You know what? I'm gonna go in there first. I know we're late. If you're listening to this later, like months after American Horror Story Cult was airing live, it'll seem like, oh, wow, they're right on time. But in reality, we had a hell of a month, both of us. Yes. So busy. We literally could not get our schedules lined up to do this. So rather than cram 4 episodes into one, we are going to take our time and catch up so that within a week or so, we will be current, but we'll do an episode for every single episode, because you know what? We had people write in that say they wait for these, and we want to make sure that we're not shortchanging anybody.
Right, and we appreciate it, and we're sorry October was a rough month, and we're doing plays, we're doing podcast marathons.
Oh man,
big huge Halloween events.
I forgot that was even within this month.
Right,
that's how crazy this has been, and that was just what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago at the most.
4 weeks ago, yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know, here's how crazy it is. Here's how I know we haven't been updating. The camera I use for this, I don't know where it is. I took it to the podcast marathon. I used it that day. This is my daughter's camera. I have no idea where that camera is. That shows you how long it's been since we recorded. So hopefully we'll get some people in the chat room joining us, but if not, they'll catch us another time, right?
Absolutely. Sure.
Cool. So, you know, I'm even setting my my thing up here, and there we go. It says my name. All right. So, Chris, let's talk about this one. This one was kind of crazy. This one, we start out. I actually wrote out what happened in this one, kind of in order, because there was a lot going on that was important in this one, rather than just like jumping in and like, hey, let's just talk about this storyline. I kind of want to follow this in order a little bit. So
sure.
First thing I want to address is, hold on, I want to close that. That's what I want to do. There we go. Is Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
So we get this story with Beverly where we see her with Bob, her boss,
right?
And he fires her. And I was a little bit surprised by this because now in the last episode, we figured out that she is one of the clowns. We kind of figured out all that was going on. And we know that she's got homicidal tendencies, right? Here, she walks in a new woman. She is confident. He starts to do his stuff, and she pulls the, hey, you can't fire me. I'll go right to the press and talk about sexual discrimination. Plus, I'm the last, didn't she say something like, I'm the last black reporter you have or something? Like,
yes.
She's really pulling off the stops on this guy. And he's like, I'm not having it.
Right.
I'm not having it. And he fires her. Now, when this happened, I knew, I'm sure you did.
Oh yeah.
we're going to Bob's house, right?
Days are numbered for Bob. Yes.
But this is the part that I was a little surprised by. So the very first thing, if you look at my notes, you see Bob comes down the stairs and he's wiping blood off his hand. And I'm thinking,
well, hold on. You're missing something here that happened first. Bob is totally macking on Emma Roberts in the office when Beverly comes in.
Oh, right.
And they have this whole interaction. Beverly's like, I'm cute. I'm hot. I'm the new thing.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
And so, Bob is clearly.
Well, but we already knew that from before. We knew that from before.
Right.
But Beverly she's calling him out.
Right. She calls him out, and then he fires her, and then we know Clown Posse is going to be making a visit.
Yeah. So now we go to Bob's house.
Yes.
I know I'm out of order. People are going to be like, wait a minute, what about the alley scene? I don't care.
Right.
We're covering Bob. Bob comes down the stairs and he's got blood all over his hand. And
yes.
I don't know about you, but I immediately wrote like, what's up with the bloody fingers?
Yes.
And right away, we know Bob's got some kind of secret. I figured it was going to be, I can't think of her name. What's her name? He was just macking on. I thought there was going to be Emma Roberts. Yeah.
Emma Roberts, what's her name? Sloan or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. I thought it was going to be something with her. Right. And I was like, what is this weirdness that they've got going on? No, it's not.
It's right out of Pulp Fiction.
It's
Zed is dead time.
It's so much better.
Yes.
It's the GIMP.
Other side. Yeah, there you go.
There it is. It's the GIMP.
It is the GIMP.
When he says, I mean, they come in, they start attacking him. They're messing up. She didn't pull off her mask yet, right? She pulled that off upstairs,
but
right?
His line is, "Who's going to take care of him?" There's not even like any concern, like, "Hey, I might be getting killed." It's like,
no,
who's going to take care of him? It's like,
he's concerned about the GIMP, and he's like, "I got a GIMP," and you're going, "What?"
Yeah.
And then they go upstairs.
Oh yeah,
who is this guy?
Right.
I mean, there's this giant, like, pretty much naked guy hanging from hooks. I'm like, what is going on? And Bob cares what happens to this guy. And this guy, he has no sense. Right. He doesn't even know they're there.
Right. He's just laying there. So
yeah, but he's alive. He's making noise and stuff. He's moving around, but he's completely he has no idea what's going on around him, and they kill him.
Yeah,
and then they kill Bob, but not before Beverly reveals who she is.
Correct.
To him, lets him know, and then Ivy runs off and throws up, and I'm like, this is another unexpected thing for me. I don't know about you, but Ivy, we've already seen her involved. This isn't the first rodeo for Ivy.
Well, but I don't know if she's involved in any of the killings. She may
at this point.
Right, at this point. And she's, regardless of her determination to do this, I think she's a little soft on it. I think she's not as committed. Although I think she's committed to the cause. I think she wants to do what it takes, but I think she's also a little hesitant about it. So I don't know.
You know, I wonder about this. Was she... No, it was just the three-nosed one. Remember when they went into Oz's room and we saw Twisty?
Yeah.
And it freaked Oz out? Was the elephant there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All of a sudden I was thinking it was, but no, I think it was just Kai in his three-nosed thing.
And was the elephant at that couple that came back from the therapist that they put in the coffins? I don't remember if she was there either.
Yeah, I don't think she was, because I think she was with Allie when that was going on.
Well, because there's something coming up with Allie that will, not with Allie, with Ivy that we'll talk about, because that comes up soon.
Yeah, so maybe this is the first time she's seeing the actual murders, but she's definitely aware of what goes on. She knows what they were there to do to Bob, but the fact that she saw the GIMP, that had to be, freak out city, and then to see him kill Bob in cold blood, that's pretty rough.
It's pretty bad, and the posse is doing this kind of on video, and they want to make it like a cult kind of thing, because
they're trying to make it go viral, because they're trying to instill fear.
Right. They're trying to instill fear. So they're videotaping it. They're doing some crazy slogan in Latin to make it like devil. It's like, no, this is so corny.
This is what he said. We have to speak in Latin because it's scarier, and we need to get more press. And Beverly's like, look, they're never going to air this stuff.
Right.
Beverly in this episode, I started to get the impression that she's moving into a leadership role. We could, by the end of this series, see Beverly and Kai have major power struggles.
Well, they set it up, and if we can have to edit this out, we'll have to edit it out. But having Kai and Beverly kind of set the parameters that they're equal partners, that was last episode, right? Where they had their conversation?
Yes.
So that's already
episode, right?
Right. No, I thought that was last episode.
Oh, it's okay. Doesn't matter.
There were three. So we're going
to try not to skip ahead at all on anything, right. But that's one of those things. Like, there may be a scene we may be off on there, but I wonder if by the end of the series,
right,
there's a power struggle that happens.
I don't know.
Because he seems to have an agenda to build power. She seems to be a psycho.
Yeah, she does, but I think she's just tired of getting stomped on and being put down, and so she sees this as a way for her to get what I think she.
I agree with that. I agree with that at this point, but I have a feeling like for him, everything is very calculated. For her, It's calculated leading to killing.
Right.
And her killing Bob is kind of like a serial killer's first step of like, wow, I was able to do this.
Sure. Well, it's obvious
she's been involved in the other things.
Right. Well, she's involved in this, and then, as part of her power struggle or power seeking thing, she turns to Kai like almost immediately after this and says, RJ, the cameraman, is weak.
Yes.
And we need to kill him.
Yeah.
And so
I was a little confused here.
Right.
Because they were saying it was RJ, but then did they say RJ or did they say one of them is weak? And then they were really making us think it was RJ, but I wonder if they were talking about
Allie or Ivy.
Ivy.
Well, no, because RJ,
when they sacrificed RJ, it was like RJ's worthless. So he's the one we're going to use to try to manipulate her because she threw up.
I don't know. I mean, I think everybody's first kill, they're a little hesitant. I think even Winter was kind of put off about the first kill, but then after that, it gets a little bit easier because once you commit one, I mean, think about Harrison. Harrison's first kill, he wasn't all jump in there. He needed to be kind of prodded, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But RJ was weak in the coffin killing,
right?
And then he's kind of weak in this one because he's kind of mumbling around. So Beverly's like, we got to kill RJ, and then I think Kai uses that as a test to check everybody's loyalty because he was
doing when he did the nail gun thing.
Right. So they take a nail gun and
that was all to test loyalty. And every one of them stepped up to the plate.
They all did. And they did it. And
I couldn't believe Ivy pulled the trigger. She did it. She was fighting with it, but she did it.
She did.
And so did Chaz Bono.
Yeah. Well,
and
you knew
Chaz did not, no. He didn't look, he dealt with the cutting off his own arm, but he did not look happy about doing that.
No, but I don't think he was as hesitant. He was willing. He was willing. You're right. I mean, I hate to say it, after one, what's the difference? Seriously, once you kill one,
you're already. If you're committed to this whole scenario, I guess you're all in. There's no just the tip of the knife, we'll call it.
Yes, tip of the knife.
So and then after they kill Bob, we forgot a little moment. No, Bob. Immediately, the next scene we see is Beverly outside reporting. That Bob's dead. I was like, "Wow, this is gold. This is nuts."
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed this episode. I thought this was kind of hard to watch because there were so many like Allie with the holes in her neck and the bugs. I'm like,
yeah,
I didn't need to see that.
Well, and the Bob scene with the gimp was really graphic. Was really bad. I mean, it was the most gory I think I've seen this show.
You think gorier than Twisty?
I think so. Come on, with the gimp. I mean, again, I'm going to give a big spoiler alert here, or a big gross out alert. Turn off for a second. I'll wave when we're done. When you see the skin rip off the hooks, that's bad. That was really, really bad.
Yeah.
And they gut Bob. So I think it's bad. I'm going to go back and wave and say that's it. But I think that's really gory. So,
I was remembering the first time when we saw Twisty gutting people, but this might have been worse.
Well, that's expected. I mean, come on, he's walking around with a big hatchet. You don't see that, but this
and missing face,
right? And that's that was pretty gory. So that's good. But and so they do all this stuff to get their viral. And I think they get viral for it, don't they? On the internet, they don't show that on the news, but doesn't it get leaked on the internet?
I can't remember that. I can't remember.
I think that's what it is. Whatever it is, it gets seen, and it's
I'm sure it's on the dark web or whatever. I'm sure it's going around.
Sure.
So, okay, now that we got out of the whole Bob thing, that was a short part of it, but my gosh,
right.
Well, there was a lot crazy whole thing.
There was a lot of dynamic about the clowns, how Kai is manipulating his group to get them suckered in and loyal to his cause by committing these murders. You get the whole thing with him and Beverly exerting her power, and there's a lot going on. So
yeah,
it was a pretty good payoff, I think, after the previous episodes kind of setting the table. But then we get to Allie.
Yeah, this is a big Allie episode.
This is a big Allie episode. So
I do have some questions between this episode and the next episode, so I won't spoil anything. But I do have some questions that on second viewing came up.
Yes.
So Allie's at home.
Well, first off,
she sees Harrison. Like,
doesn't she see Dr. Vincent first? And then
wait, when did she see Dr. Vincent?
So Dr. Vincent's almost like right away after the murder.
Oh, right. That's when she does the holes in her neck thing.
She does the whole things, and the doctor can, somehow Allie, after doing all this, convinces herself that it's just stress from the breakup. But then she makes a really pretty significant realization because she realizes that Ivy prepared for this divorce, this split.
This is the scene where she's like, it's almost like she knew what was going to happen. Right. That was a really big moment.
That was a really big moment. You're like, aha.
Yeah. And now, note, the therapist didn't react.
No.
I have thoughts about this therapist, but
yes,
he didn't react. She said this. She's starting to suspect. And what ends up happening later in this episode is her suspicions grow.
As we know, Allie is part of the whole thing, or not Allie, Ivy is part of the whole thing. Right. But Allie is having her suspicions, but Allie is too wrapped up in her own stuff to see it clearly. I mean, and I wouldn't see it clearly. I mean, not any, but a good number of these kind of divorce things, especially with a big age difference, you could see this coming a mile away. I think we talked about it last episode. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of red flags. And obviously Allie, Ivy prepared for this because there's a lot going on, and Allie is not in touch with anything that's going on in the restaurant. So
yeah, truly. And okay, well, so anyway, she sees Harrison removing something.
Yes.
She sees him kiss the detective.
Yes.
Now this is sending up red flags for her all over the place.
Sure.
She goes over there. This is the part to me. I wrote out here like she goes over. Like it hasn't. Every time she's done this, it has not boded well for her.
No, it's this It's this white empowerment. I can do whatever I want. I'm
an entitlement.
The entitlement, yes. Yeah, sorry, I did empowerment. I mean, it just reeks of this. I'm going to do whatever I have to. It's like, why would you go over there?
Yeah.
After everything that's happened, why?
Right. Why?
But, she goes over there and, hey,
She goes over and lo and behold, she finds Meadow in a grave.
Right.
And she goes, help me. I'm like, oh my gosh. What?
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know about you, but I was thinking it was a setup.
I wasn't because Meadow, they had even talked about it. Where's Meadow? And, Meadow's kind of a pain in the butt. And Kai, I think it was a previous episode, kind of had some, not words for her, but, was kind of tired of her complaining. So it would seem like, oh, she's out of there because Meadow is not part of the jail scene.
The way it happened and the way it went to commercial immediately after her help me, when it happened, I was like, wait a minute, is this a setup?
Well, it appears like it could be, but Allie doesn't help her. Allie goes, I can't help you.
Yeah, right.
The police runs across the street to call the police.
Yeah.
What the? I mean,
yeah.
You're going to
but you know what? I actually can understand what happened there. I mean, like, I know part of you was like, no, you save her, but there's so much craziness going on.
Right.
And seeing her in this grave, it either means I've snapped and it's not real, or a lot of this is really happening. Me taking the time to help her out probably means I get killed. So if I run and I call the police, at least somebody's on their way to help with the situation.
Meadow is not her favorite person on the planet. So,
you think?
no, I would have.
Here are some Taco Bell coupons.
I would have really loved if she would have piled some dirt on Meadow personally, because
she runs back and kicks some, and then runs away.
Takes a shovel here. Here's some help. Die quicker, and that's it. So Die quicker.
Yeah. Throws a fish hook into her. You're like, it's another gimp.
Right. So she runs back home.
Yep. She tries 911. Then she calls Ivy because she doesn't know. Her suspicions are not about this. Her suspicions are that Ivy, it's premeditated, this divorce, or this breakup, but she has no idea. And she calls Ivy.
Sure.
And
don't they have phone problems?
Yeah. Is this where did Meadow come to the window at this point?
So, yes.
Or was it before? Did she call the
therapist?
Or did the therapist call first? Because remember, the therapist calls and she goes, how did you know to call me so fast? He goes, Ivy told me.
Right. No, she sees so.
Or is this does Meadow come to the window and tells her? I think that's how it went. I think that she came to the window. Meadow tells her about the cult and says Ivy is part of it. And then, yikes, bag over her head. It's got to be Harrison and the cop. They pull her out of there.
Right.
It's like, what is going on? This is where the therapist calls, or maybe it's at the next scene, but the therapist calls and she goes, how did you know to call me? And she's like, oh, it is, because it's after Meadow told her about Ivy. And then she says, I'm not wrong. There's stuff going on here.
Right.
And the therapist tries to talk her down.
Sure.
And I'm going to save my thoughts for him on the next episode. Boom.
Yes.
That's going to get you. Okay. So now let's see, we can finish out with her.
So that, I mean,
actually, that finishes her. We didn't see what happens next to her.
No,
yet.
we finished her. And then we cut to
RJ tied up.
RJ tied up, and then the nail gun thing.
Gun.
Which we jumped on. And then we get a pinky scene, which are my favorite, right?
Yeah. We get the pinky scene with isn't it Beverly?
It's Beverly.
This is why I think there's going to be a power struggle, because Beverly pulls his crap on him and gets him to tell this crazy story about his family.
Oh, yeah.
And we see the dad is in a wheelchair. He's abusive. We see the mom shoot the dad and then take her own life. Talk about gruesome, the way that was shot.
Sure.
Holy cow. And then.
But we don't have to talk. We can save your questions about the doctor, because.
No, we can't. Believe it or not.
This isn't.
We can't.
Okay.
Because what I have to say about the doctor still is not affected by this.
Okay.
But we find out right here. I don't know the doctor's name. Dr. Bombay.
Vincent. Dr. Bombay. Dr. Bombay.
Come right away, and he shows up, and Clara's got the door handles. And okay. So there's like 4 people listening to this are old enough to know what that joke was. It wasn't even a joke.
Switch your nose. That's all right.
Yeah, that's right. So we find out that Dr. Bombay is Kai's brother.
Yes, Kai and Winter's brother, older brother. Yes. And so their parents are dead, and he's not like, oh, we should call the police.
No, he's cold.
He goes, well, my practice just started.
What will it look like screw up my life?
Let's screw up my life. So we're going to put mom and dad in the bed with lye on them and let them rot there and be preserved in lye on their bed.
Yeah. And Kai has snapped. He goes along with it. He's the one that did it, but he goes along with it like, it's what we're going to do. And then, that was all crazy, right?
Right.
But then we also then get the scene where he brings Winter. He tells her what's up.
Right.
Because if you pay attention in that scene, he's warned her. But then they go in there and she's like, what the serious hell is going on here?
Right.
They're like decomposed. This didn't just happen yesterday.
No, they don't tell them. Like, they don't tell her till the end of the semester, whatever that is.
Right.
So it's
like
months.
This is months. So when she walks in there, this is no longer fresh.
Right. Well, she's kind of mad. And then like 30 seconds later, I'm okay with it. That just shows you how much she doesn't care.
Well, also, they were horrible people.
Oh, yeah.
The dad was horrible, especially.
Well, not the whole time, just at the end.
I don't know if the mom was horrible, but no, but that was what they were implying, is that he was super abusive and an alcoholic and trouble. And he was abusive to the mom, and the mom eventually takes him out and then takes herself out.
Because Kai makes a statement to Winter at the end of their little thing. This isn't the end, but the beginning.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like where this whole kind of.
That's where it all started.
I'm going to get all this together. Yeah. So
that's where this whole crazy idea was born in him, was when he was left alone with the dead parents.
Sure. Well, and so that, but exactly. So then Kai, when he has questions or wants to talk about his feelings, he goes in, holds his mother's hand and says, Mom, this is what I'm doing. This is great, blah, blah, blah. And then literally just, pardon my French, shits all over his dad's like, you're a mother blanker. Blah, blah, blah. And so this is like right out of Psycho. And like all these, I look at this, I'm like, oh my God. It was a
crazy scene, man.
You're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And what's happening?
It was great.
And so
that was great. This was one of those, the whole thing with the parents, seeing what happened with Kai. I thought this was just so well done. This elevated the series. I've been enjoying it. I thought it was a rough start. It was hard to watch in the beginning. It's gotten deeper, better stories going on. But this scene between the Gimp scene, which was amazing, and the Winter scene, and now Kai's flashback, we learned so much, and it was so well done. And I mean, that was some crazy stuff going on. Yeah,
there was a lot of weird stuff, but it explained a lot and kind of, I think, set the table for the remaining, 12 episodes, so the next 7. I think this got everything kind of in one direction, got everybody's ships in a row.
Yep.
And it kind of explained, it explained some stuff with the doctor. How was he involved? Because, maybe we know that it's not really the doctor manipulating it, and we'll talk about that later, but this is Kai's baby, but the doctor is very complicit, and, he's obviously part of it. So what's happening?
Well, and we'll see what I think about all that in the next episode.
And one more thing, we talked about the clowns. We finally got the breakdown of all of the clowns because we thought the doctor might be in it. Where Hands in the Head is Beverly, Three Nose is Kai, Elephant is Ivy, the one with the blue eyes, the female clown, that's Winter.
Yeah. RJ was in there.
The clown with the big teeth is Wilton. The one with the hair is Meadow. It's got like the crazy hair. And then the detective was the Brain, which I never saw coming. And that's what, and I couldn't remember what RJ was, but he gone, so it doesn't really matter.
He's gone.
So we didn't
nail gun to the head,
right? But we don't now. We know from what we know is the doctor's not involved in the clown posse, even though we thought he might be.
Right.
At least
from what we saw there.
From at least what we see. So that may reveal itself in the future. I don't know. I can't remember that far. So, but
we're dealing with short-term memory. We're like Memento. We've written down just enough to get through this episode on our arms.
Your Guy Pearce. Hey, what's going on?
So I'm going to end it. And then
let's end it.
The next episode. So thank you for listening, everybody. Follow us on Twitter @DisturbedPod. Follow us on Facebook @Disturbed Podcast. Follow us everywhere that you can find us. Give us ratings and reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, wherever you get this podcast. Please rate us, review us. It helps other people find the show. It really just helps boost this whole thing.
Share it with your friends if you know other people that like the show. Share it and help us out and do that kind of stuff. That goes a long way too, especially Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So
now I did put up a poll a couple of weeks ago, and we did get a couple of responses because I was asking. We have a lot of people that listen to this. We have a lot of people that respond now. We're getting a lot more momentum with people talking to us. And I said, if we were to keep it going in the off season, what would you want? And I gave some options. I threw a poll out there. I said, do you want us to do a different series? Like before, I know Jeff and Scott did Scream. Do you want us to do a different series? Do you want us to do horror movie reviews? Do you want ghost stories? Or do you just want like horror news BSing around? And what came back, number one, was more of those ghost stories.
Sure.
Just maybe we can do something like that. We'll just get together and like we'll each pick a couple and we'll come on and we'll just kind of tell them and kind of freak each other out, and that'll be it. So there'll be some short episodes here and there. And then we did have a few people that said maybe a movie review here and there where we just kind of talk about the horror movies that we've seen.
Sure.
We could model that off of Chris and I have both been on League of Geeks in October. Does a thing called 31 Days of Horror, where every day they do a little 15-minute review of a horror movie. We've both been on it a bunch of times.
Yes, we have.
Maybe we do something like that and drop a 15-minute horror review once a month or something.
Sure.
But I wanted to let you know that we were paying attention to what you guys wanted, and I have been gathering some ghost stories, trying to get some good stuff together, and also listening to how we want to do it. I kind of liked how we did the last one where we just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of production there because that's not how we roll, but we'll see. We'll see. So definitely know that we're not giving up the ship once this series is over. We're thinking about how we can keep things kind of going in the off season. And if you do have thoughts on it, send us an email, southgatemediagroup@gmail.com, or tweet us or Facebook. Throw up a message on there and just say, hey, I think you guys should do this. Slasher season 2 just hit Netflix. Maybe you want us to review that.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. We could have some fun with it.
Absolutely. There's a lot out there.
Don't expect it to be timely, though, because we are some busy guys.
We are.
So we do our best.
And we're late. So
yeah. All right. That's it. Chris, want to give your social media?
Yeah, absolutely. That can be found at Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media.
And I am at R Southgate, or once again, you can find us at Disturbed Pod on Twitter. And I'm also under Rob Southgate on Instagram, which I get really active with for a while, and then I kind of cool off, and I'm in a mode right now where I'm going to get super, super active again. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. We've been doing plays and marathons. Just a lot of stuff is going to dump on there, so you can see kind of what's... Yeah, and now we've added what? What did we add? Three marathons coming up before the next Blue Box Marathon?
Well, yes.
3 marathons coming up. See, one of them's a little shorter than the others. All right, that's it. Time to clown around.